It looks amazing. It looks so good. I've been keeping a secret from you guys for a while now, but I gotta come clean. A couple months ago now, I put some paperwork in the mail. Some of you probably know exactly where I'm going with this, and some of you probably don't. But let's just say it was an order for something. Movement 1 o'clock! So what did I order that was such a big deal? Well, I bought an M1 Garand, the rifle used by the United States in World War II. You're probably thinking, why is that a big process and why did you have to mail stuff? I actually bought it from the government. There's a program called the Civilian Marksmanship Program. It's government sponsored and they sell off surplus M1 Garands. They do run physical stores where you can go in and just buy one, but the way I did it was a mail order. So I had to mail in a ton of paperwork, like copies of my driver's license, concealed carry permit, passport, notarized documents, order forms, all kinds of different stuff. And then for the mail order one, you don't pick out a specific rifle. They just choose from a big batch of them and ship it off to you and you get whatever they pick. That probably doesn't sound ideal to anyone, and I'll be honest, it isn't at all. It takes a really long time to get your order. You don't know what condition the gun you get is gonna be in, so they grade them based on how good they are. When I bought mine, they only had the lowest quality grade available, so that's ones that have a lot of parts replaced and don't have a great barrel on them, stuff like that. And to even qualify to get one through this government program, you have to have proof that you've done some kind of firearms training or marksmanship stuff. You have to be a member of a club that's affiliated with them, and there's like some other requirements too. So if you have to jump through so many hoops just to get a gun that you can't see before you buy it, what's the point? Well, I went with this because of the price. The gun I got, including shipping and a case and everything, was $650, which is a really good price for an M1 Garand. Plus, I wasn't too worried about if it was going to be beat up. I'm going to use this one for World War II reenacting, so I'll probably put some wear on it anyway. No matter how good the one they send me is, I'll have to change out some parts on it to get it correct to World War II, since some of the parts were updated after the war. They do guarantee that it'll shoot and they test fire it before they send it, but even if some parts were like totally broken or unusable, if I had to pay to replace them, it would probably still be cheaper than buying an M1 Garand anywhere else. It's been about 2 months since I sent the order in and it's almost here. I'm super excited for it. Like I said, it's the lowest grade one and they just pick a random one and send it to me. The one thing I do know is the serial number. Before they shipped it out, they sent me an email that had some information about the gun, and one of the things in there was the serial number, which you can use to find out when the gun was made. So the serial numbers are different based on who the manufacturer is, and I don't know who the manufacturer of mine is, but it looks like from the serial number that the one I'm going to get was made during World War II. They just choose them at random, so I could have got a later production one too. It's currently Wednesday and it's supposed to get to me on Friday. I know I can do a couple more days of waiting, but man, I've been waiting 2 months already. I just want this thing in my hands. Well guys, it just got here. My M1 Garand in the box is right here. I'm super excited if you couldn't tell. I don't have a ton of time to record right now, but I can't wait another second to open this thing, so let's get into it. All right, let's cut this thing open. Bear with me, it might be hard to keep it and myself in the frame, but I got my US Navy Mark I knife from World War II. Let's cut into this thing. All right, so it's in a really nice hard case here. Let's open it up and see what I got, I guess. That's the latch. All right, let's see. Moment of truth here. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah. Oh, it's a Springfield Armory. That's what it's marked SA right here. That means Springfield Armory. It looks amazing. So you can see the furniture is mixed matched here. It has that darker like black walnut it looks like, and then maybe birch or something down here. But that's fine by me, honestly. I'll probably restock it at some point, but man, this is amazing. The receiver itself looks like it is in great shape. I mean, there's a little pitting and stuff. Looks pretty nice, guys. Let's see if I get Garand thumb my first time trying to close this thing. Okay. I have been wanting an M1 Garand since I was like 8 years old, probably before that. I've always wanted to get one, and now that I finally have one that's my own, feels really good. I didn't realize until like 1 second ago that the rifle comes with one end block clip for the Garand in the package. So I guess we can do my first ping from my M1 Garand right now. All right, let me just open my bolt. Close it up. All right, I have an end block in there. Let's do the first ever ping from my own M1 Garand. That was anticlimactic. It's pretty funny to look back at myself struggling to load this thing while I'm editing it, but now that I've used it for a couple days, I promise that I'm a lot more proficient with it. I had used Garands like many times before you see me doing this in the video, but I was just so giddy and excited, I guess. But I promise I know how to use it now, so don't leave a bunch of comments saying what I did wrong. I know that I was doing it wrong. It's having some kind of issue. Well, that's not how I wanted it to go. There's a learning curve to this, guys. Bear with me. Let's try that again and see how it goes. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. All right, guys, well, I gotta run for now, but I'll show you some more about the Garand in a minute here. All right, so it's been a couple days since I opened my Garand. I was able to look up the serial number on the receiver here. This was made in December of 1942, so it's pretty incredible to have that. That's a pretty early production one, honestly, so I couldn't be happier with that. It's in really nice condition. The one thing I had mentioned was this stock on here. This is a stock that was made after World War II. The ones from World War II had this dark color wood. It's black walnut. And I already found a World War II era stock that will match this wood up here to put on there. Shout out to my friend Brendan for offering that up to me. So I'm super excited to put that on here and see how it looks. I'm also gonna have to change out the sights on here. They used what's called lock bar sights in World War II. Same thing with the trigger guard. This is a post-World War II stamped trigger guard, just meaning it was stamped out of sheet metal. The ones used during World War II were milled out of metal instead of stamped. So I'm gonna replace those parts and then it'll be correct to World War II. I also haven't mentioned the barrel on here. So if you look here, the barrel is actually dated February of 1944. Super nice that I got not only a World War II dated receiver, I got an early World War II receiver and a World War II barrel. So maybe you've heard of M1 thumb or Garand thumb, which is when you put your thumb in here. A lot of people say it's when you're reloading. Usually it doesn't happen when you're reloading because the rounds kind of keep your finger from going all the way in there to get pinched. It usually happens when you're closing the bolt on an empty chamber or loading an empty end block or something like that. To close the chamber, you have to depress this follower here and then pull the bolt back a little bit and it slides forward. So normally you would do that like this. You put your hand here, you push this down a little bit, slide your whole hand back, and then let it go, and it slams closed. So normally, as long as you have your hand blocking the handle right there, it won't slam closed on your finger. It'll just hit your hand first, and that'll at least slow it down so it's not jamming your finger in there. But I actually got something worse than M1 thumb. I didn't know that existed, but I got M1 thigh. I was taking the rifle apart and I had opened up the bolt. So as you'll notice here, it's pretty easy to pull the bolt back here and have it look like it's locked open, but in reality, you can see it's not all the way back, it's resting on the follower. I knew that was something to look out for. What happened was I opened it up and quickly flipped it upside down and rested it on my leg to take off the trigger group. So as soon as I flipped it over, it slammed closed and pinched my leg skin in there. And it didn't just pinch it for a second, it was in there. I had to pry the bolt open to get my leg skin out. And man, that hurt really bad. I bled for a while and stuff, and I really felt like an idiot. But hey, that's what happens. You live and you learn. If you get a Garand or any weapon really, I would just take some time cycling it and playing around with it, getting to know it without any ammo in it. I've gotten so much more familiar with the weapon and all the intricacies of it that I didn't know about before I owned one and could really sit down for hours and just mess with it. So what are my plans for my Garand here? Well, I plan on using this primarily for reenacting, which means that I'll have to put a blank adapter on the end here. I still need to buy one of those, but I don't plan on only shooting blanks through this. I'm definitely gonna put some live rounds through it, and you better believe that when I do that, I'll be bringing my camera with me so I can bring you guys along. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see when I actually put this thing into action, either in a reenactment or taking it to the range with live rounds. Like I explained earlier, I have been trying to get my hands on one of these for the past, well, most of my life, honestly. I've wanted one of these since I was a kid. It really feels good to have one to call my own, and you'll be seeing a lot more of it here soon. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the next one.